Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant has it all wrong. And in this video, I'm gonna share with you exactly why. If you wanna become a millionaire, pay close attention. And be sure to stay till the end because I got a free gift for you that helps you take this training even deeper. What's up, everybody? This is Mike Mark. I build, buy, scale, and sell businesses for a living. A lot of people ask me, Mike, how did you build your first $1 million business? How can I build a $1 million business? And that's exactly what we're gonna get into. There's one idea that had a massive impact on me, and that's Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. This idea, once I heard it, it completely changed things for me, and I was constantly asking myself, how can I move to the investor category as fast as possible? If you're not familiar with Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, here's a quick visual. Now, there's 4 categories inside of the cash flow quadrant. You're gonna have employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. What separates each of these? The employee is someone who trades time for money. They're working at a wage-based job. If you've ever worked an entry-level job, so I worked as a bellman and I worked as a front desk person in hotels when I first came out of college. That was me being an employee. I had a W-2, I got a consistent pay stub, and I knew what I'd make, and I had a 40-hour week job, consistent week in, week out. The second one's gonna be self-employed. And if you're self-employed, you may be a freelancer, you might have a hustle like you're a videographer, you're a lawyer, even doctors. A lot of doctors are self-employed. So what makes a self-employed person? Well, we'll get into that in just a little bit. Third category is gonna be a business owner. This is where you have systems that do the work for you and a team that does the work for you. So your income is not determined by your active input. In fact, your income is more so determined by the output of the machine that you've built. Then lastly, we have an investor. And that's where your income is based on the money that you're putting in or the resources that you're putting in, and you're allowing your money to make money for you. So my question that I constantly asked myself was, how can my money make enough money that I never have to work again? I'll never forget, I was on a trip with my family, and it was a summer. I was about 10, 12 years old at that time. While on that trip, my dad said something to me that would forever impact me. He said, the key is to get paid whether or not you show up. See, my dad was a business owner, so he didn't have to clock in or clock out. In fact, he was on vacation with his family, and while we were on that vacation, the business was running like a well-oiled machine. That means my dad was making money, they were making sales, customers were getting their orders, and everything was rolling. When a lot of people get this idea for the first time, they want to figure out how to skip straight to investor. And I know that was something that I did myself. What really changed things for me, though, was once I understood that this is not something that I can skip to. Instead, this is more like a cash flow ladder. I first had to be an employee, then work my way into being self-employed, then work my way into being a business owner, and now I can be an investor. So I want to break down on each rung of the ladder. Wherever you are, there's no wrong place to be. But at each rung, there is something that you need to focus on, something that you need to master in order to move to the next rung. Having gone through this journey, I'm going to break these down for you. So if you are an employee, that is where we all start for the most part. And as employees, the most important thing for you to master is discipline. You need to be able to show up on time. You need to be able to do the job. You need to be able to have the right thinking. That means that you can turn anything into a positive. You can see the situation for what it is, and you can solve the problem, or you can see the good in it. That's why so many entry-level personal development books will talk about things like daily success habits, rituals, morning routines, whatever. People want to understand what are the successful people doing differently. Ultimately, it comes down to being consistent. That means going to sleep at consistent times, waking up at consistent times, eating at consistent times, and showing up regularly. Ultimately, for us to move out of employee, it's about mastering discipline. And really, through that process, we master our ability to control or to guide our own thinking. From there, usually what's going to happen is we're going to start to get technically proficient, and we'll get technically proficient enough to the point that we think I should go out on my own, or I can do my own thing now. When people move to self-employed, the biggest thing that they have to focus on is skills. You need to acquire as many skills as possible. And the most important skill for you to acquire when you're self-employed is sales. Whether you're introverted or extroverted, whether you like sales or don't like sales, if you want to learn how to scale businesses, become a business owner and an investor, you likely need to sell. Even investors still sell. They need to sell CEOs on managing or owning the companies. They need to sell investors on investing with them so they can raise capital. They need to sell people all the time. That is why at Self-Employed, it's so important for you to master sales of all skills. Ultimately, what will get you out of self-employed is your ability to consistently generate sales. You need a predictable way to generate sales. If you don't have a predictable or controllable way to generate sales, you will forever stay self-employed. That's why so many freelancers who rely on referrals and they don't have consistent packaging, you'll see them stuck forever at $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, and they'll never really build $1 million business. Which leads us to the next rung on the ladder. As a business owner, the key comes down to systems and team, systems and team, systems and team. This way, this whole thing can happen whether you show up or not. So the output that you're getting is based on the systems and the team. You don't need to do the work yourself in order to get paid. And I'll give you an example. Last night, I was on a walk with my wife. We were preparing for her brother's birthday party. We went to the grocery store around the corner. I looked at my phone, and what did I see? An $11,000 sale came in while I was walking and talking with my wife and our baby. That is the magic of being a business owner. You can get paid even while on vacation. You could get paid even when you're not working, and then that allows you to focus on the bigger and better things. Now, if you want to move to investor, at investor, what we need to really master are asset allocation as well as risk management. Our goal as an investor is to create asymmetrical returns. That means we need a maximum potential upside with very little risk or potential of losing principal. When we do that, that is when we have maximized our return and we have minimized our risk. Why is the cash flow quadrant more of a cash flow ladder? Well, in the Marine Corps, they have a leadership principle, which is, in order to lead, you must know how to do a job. So as an investor, we lead and we manage business owners. In order to lead and manage business owners, you must know how to manage businesses. As a business owner, you lead and manage employees. In order to lead and manage employees, you must know how to do the job. You see, so in order for you to stop getting paid on your input, you must know how to do the job. As a self-employed person, you get paid based on your time input multiplied by the value of the skill that you offer. That's why high-ticket salespeople, lawyers, or doctors get paid so much money. It's because they have a difficult to acquire skill. And when you have a difficult to acquire skill, that makes the time input that you're creating more valuable. Also, as a self-employed person, you can do value-based pricing, which is a huge way you can make a lot more money because your pay is not based on your time. Your pay is based on the value to the end customer. So if you help a customer make $100,000, even if it's in only 10 hours to you, you can charge substantially more. In summary, in order to lead, you must know how to do a job. That's why the cash flow quadrant is actually more like a cash flow ladder. Our goal is to get to the next level of the game by climbing from rung to rung. If you want to move up on the ladder as fast as possible, I've put together a free training called the 4 Phases of Scaling. This training is incredible. I've gotten great feedback from all kinds of business owners. I actually just taught it in Atlanta at a mastermind with a bunch of 6- and 7-figure business owners, and all of them told me, Mike, I wish that someone told me this earlier. If you want that training, just go to coachingsales.com/cash flow quadrant and grab that now.